Aloha! What's up, everybody, and welcome to today's presentation of Ancient Oblivion, where today we're talking about the firmament, specifically a particular portion of the firmament. I'm going to go ahead and share with you guys some of these slides. You might see some things in common here, okay? I've got a lot of these slides in the form of all kinds of what I consider to be pretty hard evidence, not only that there is a firmament, but that there is a specific feature of the firmament that I'm going to be sharing with you and discussing today. I'm not going to go over all of them at the very beginning. I just wanted a little preview at the beginning. All right, so cool. We're going to start with this one. We're going to take a look at all kinds of artwork across religions, across cultures, specifically the medieval times. I really like the medieval times, the medieval artwork. This is a classic example of something from the medieval ages. A thumbs up in the chat if you guys can hear me. Let's start with an audio check. Thank you very much. I did my own. It looks good on my side. Does it? Yes, it does. Okay, cool. All right, sweet. Well, also don't worry about my cheek. I just had a pimple and I scratched it, and so I'm kind of bleeding on my cheek. So, yes, let's jump into the topic of the firmament. First and foremost, I have an alternative cosmology. I have many different fringe theories that I discuss and entertain and daydream about and think about here on my channel. And I love to share those findings and my research and my thoughts with all of you. I specifically and especially love what I call ancient oblivion, okay? Which is a time long forgotten, a time that now is basically only really taught when you go watch the movies, because people have forgotten all about the way the world once was, although there is ample evidence in the form of paintings and pictures and architecture and so many things that we have taken for granted and just dismiss and minimize, you know, because it's not the modern age, and those people must have just been not as intellectual as we are or whatnot. But I speculate that the world was much different going further back into time. I speculate and hypothesize and theorize that we go through resets or apocalypses, cataclysms that happen the world across, and that they change everything about the world we live in. For example, take this picture, right? Many of these ancient medieval paintings and whatnot and drawings, you'll notice that the sky should be blue, but it's gold. It's yellow. It's orange colored. And then they clearly had blue. See up here in the corner right there? Right here. You can see that they had blue. I can't put my mouse all the way up on that little dome, but you see that little blue dome? That's the subject of today's discussion, okay? Now, first and foremost, many of you who are, you know, regulars to my channel, you'll notice the pillar symbolism with the fire coming up out of it and the prophet at the top of it. But today we're going to focus on this guy over here. What is this? This is a portion of the firmament that I have now dubbed the apex dome. Okay, there is the firmament, and then there's a portion of it called the apex dome. And the apex dome is really what we're going to be studying and looking at today. Hold on one sec. Oh, okay, cool. Everybody in the chat, by the way, high five to all you guys. Good to see you. All right, now let's check out this apex dome. One thing I want you to see, we're going to check out a lot of different pictures, starting with this one. Sometimes they show things coming out of it or going up into it, right? Sometimes they show a hand, the hand of God that comes out of this apex dome. Now, it's clearly not the firmament, the entire expanse of the firmament in all of its glory, because that should bow down over our world, right? I mean, at least according to, you know, the typical ancient cosmologies, they depict our world being much like a snow globe. This is something different. And also you'll notice that sometimes they put layers on it, right? Usually 7, right? The 7 layers of heaven, the 7 gates of heaven, etc. And you'll also notice there are stars. You see those stars up in there? Blake 1991 says, I love being a member. Good to see you, Blake. All right, cool. So this is our first example of the apex dome. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go over these pictures with you guys. I'm gonna comment on them, and I'm gonna discuss it as we go. At the end, I'm actually gonna show you my own little cosmology that I'm working on, and you know, that might help you to get a better idea of how this is created and what our world looks like, aside from just being a plane of existence with a covering over it. But maybe we can get a little more specific, right? Sharon, I didn't cut myself. I just scratched my pimple. Or whatever. All right. Anyways, so check this out. Here it is again, right? Now this one, we got these two alien-looking prophet characters. Look at these big old alien heads. Check this out. Boom. You see that? So Blake, 1991, just donated $100 to me personally and says it's for Christmas, as a Christmas gift. Blake, thank you. That was very, very generous. Thank you so much, Blake. That was super kind. Oh, man. Thank you. I don't know what else to say. Thank you so much. You caught me off guard. All right, let's continue on. I know you guys want to see me continue on the presentation here, including Blake. Thank you, Blake. Anyways, so here it is again, right? You'll notice the color, right? Usually it has an outer blue ring, but you'll also start to notice something else. One, light comes out of this from this middle circle. You see this? How there's see how there's two circles? Right? This is the doom shape in the Colburn Bible, as we discussed when we broke down the Colburn Bible, right? Now, sometimes they'll show it to you from the side. This is a side angle, okay? So if you're far away, it looks more like this. And there's a circle within a circle. That inner circle is the depressurization point of the firmament itself. And that is where the opening in the firmament is, the main one, the largest opening in the firmament. And this is plasma that is seeping out of the firmament, right? You notice some lines are straight, indicating light, but some lines are wavy, indicating plasma. Oftentimes they will put God or Jesus or some sort of heavenly figure or some sort of righteous person up there, or angels up there. You'll also notice the eyeball symbolism, right? Now, another thing that I noticed here is you'll see Mount Meru, or the anode and cathode mountains, or all three of those, right? Right here we have Mount Meru. Over here we got anode, cathode mountains, two pillars, which are anode and cathode pillars, positive and negative. Benjamin Anthony just donated $50 and has been with us for looks like 5 years now, and says, glad to catch a live tonight. Thank you, Jay. Here's some more Christmas money. Oh, man. And then Lord Racer also says, happy Friday the 13th. You guys are very kind to me tonight, and I appreciate it. So because I love you, I'm going to press on with the conversation, and I'm going to come back to saying thank you to everybody at the end. All right, so let's continue on. Oh, see the background? See the sky, what color it is? This is the golden age. There's not just one golden age like they teach you in academics. There are many golden ages. They happen cyclically, time and time again. We're not in one right now, clearly. Now let's check out some more examples of this apex dome. Here it is again. You see the golden background, right? Up here at the top, if we zoom in, we can see the apex dome. You see that? And this one looks like it's got Jesus. This one has the circle within the circle, or the doom shape, the dome shape, which is where that comes from. And it has light coming out of it. Oftentimes this light will hit somebody like Jesus or Mary. Sometimes the light is coming out of it. Sometimes the light is going up to it, actually. Here's another example of the apex dome. This one has a whole bunch of saints all gathering together on what looks like possibly Pentecost. And this one, you can see it at the very top. Why is that there? Why is that there? There's an inverted or upside down bowl at the top of the sky, blue in color, with a circle within a circle and light coming out of it. Right? Here's another one where it looks like Moses or somebody that's hiding within the rock, right? Oftentimes these are taken out of biblical passages and they redraw them during their time. You've got the golden background once again. The mountains, once again, these high and lofty mountains, oftentimes kind of flat on the top, or a split mountain, which indicates Mount Meru itself. This one has the apex dome up here in the corner. Now, some people might speculate, which is reasonable. See how there's light coming from the fingertips all the way down? Some people might speculate that Still in Hugh, high five, Still in Hugh, welcome to my channel, that this is a circle. They just didn't draw it all. Well, it's not a circle, and I've got different images here that can prove it and show you that they're not drawing a circle. It's not like it's just partially completed, or I'm only showing you part of an image. Now look at these. These are from all around the world. This one's depicting what looks like the 12 disciples or apostles meeting together with the apex dome at the top up here. It's not always blue, but check this out. If we zoom in a little more, you know it's the apex dome because it's got light coming out of it and stars within it. Check that out, right? Now, sometimes they'll, when, older depictions of the firmament itself, they'll put stars in the firmament, like actually in it, right, on it or whatever. But quite oftentimes they don't. They keep the stars. They reserve them for this vault. This is the vault that gives birth to the stars. This is the thing that creates the stars. Also the thing that creates the sun and the moon. A point of focus and a projection. Let's check out some more of this apex dome. Now, in this one you can see there are some holy figures. They're all sitting around what looks like a volcano, a blue volcano of some sort. All of them are looking upwards. You'll notice this a lot in this weird enigmatic artistic style. They're pointing up. They're looking right at you, pointing up. They're all looking up at the sky. It reminds me of that movie Don't Look Up, remember? Here's another apex dome. This represents the firmament over here. This is the apex dome at the top of the firmament. It even has a little eye up there because this is also the all-seeing eye. This is the eye in the sky. This one's of particular interest to me. Here's another version of the apex dome. This one has what looks like plasma falling off of it. You see that? So this one's got some lady laying down, maybe being burned or something. She's laying on what looks like a pyre. It looks like she's royalty or something. The royalty is burning. And then these little strands, these little plasma strands or plasma filaments, they're leaving the apex dome and they're coming down. This is because the cosmic plasma that is just outside of the firmament, when the firmament opens and the electromagnetic barrier goes to neutral, there's nothing keeping that plasma at bay. Right? That's a shield that protects us. And we'll talk about the shield symbolism as well. The shield of Zeus. Also, I want you to take note of something. Sometimes it's a solid dome shape, but in this case, the actual dome shape is more wavy. Do you see that? See along the blue lines how it's kind of wavy, going up and down and in and out right here, and then the plasma's coming out of these particular areas, right? The firmament has weak spots all over it. In the form of, it depends on what side of it you're on, but craters, bowls, or domes, okay? There's actually a project by NASA called Project Moonblink, where they documented that people, official, astronomers that they approve of, they were seeing domes on the moon. Now, there's a moon connection too, and I'm going to share that with you as we go. Here's another one. Now, you won't always see a solid dome either. Sometimes you'll see clouds in a dome shape that goes down and around and back up. This is due to the depressurization of the atmosphere. Whenever you have rapid depressurization, you get mist, you get fog, and it's going to swirl around this particular area. So you'll often see this dome shape, the apex dome, surrounded by fog or surrounded by mist and clouds and billowing clouds and stuff too. So this particular image here, these are all really interesting to go over. Academics would have you believe that it's just all nonsense and fairy tales and means nothing, but it doesn't. We got a dragon opening its mouth over here. There's an angel fighting against the demons. And you can see people up there in the heavens in the apex dome. Here's another one. This one is Jesus. Jesus is going to be featured prominently throughout this one. And this one's a little bit different too. So this one actually has something coming up. It almost looks like it's see-through right here, like an aura or something. For me, this just symbolizes the plasma that comes up from the earth, the blue beam, which to me also represents Jesus. But then right above his head, we have another version of the apex dome with its layers. And at the center is usually red, right? That's because that's the red spectrum plasma just on the other side, which I believe is ionized hydrogen. There's oftentimes a bird at the tip of the apex dome or descending from the apex dome or going up to the apex dome as well. And that is because that is the cosmic bird of creation. Sometimes it's pointing down, sometimes pointing up, sometimes it's a dove, sometimes it's a phoenix, sometimes it's a, I don't know. There's all kinds of different birds. My mind went blank just now. A dove, a phoenix, a bluebird, a thunderbird, etc., and so on and so forth. Now, now it starts to get really interesting. Check this out. Here is the apex dome, and this is Jesus. This is called the Ascension of Jesus. I don't know. I went red again. I don't know why I went red. That's weird. I don't know. I got to fix something. I'm sorry about me being red. Dang. I don't know why I'm red. Snap. Should I just ignore it? Should I just ignore the red, or should I try to fix it? Let me try to fix it real quick. Let's see if I can do that. Just real quick, doesn't take too long at all. All right, boom. We're going to go to my camera here and see if I can tone that down a bit. I look like the Red Hulk or something. All right, so let's see. Let's go this way. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, that's not too bad, I guess. I don't know, Fudge. I shouldn't do this on live, on the fly. All right. Let's try the hue shift. Oh, that made me yellow. This makes me a little tan. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll leave it there. Now I look like I eat seafood. Damn it. Okay, just quick intermission here. That's good enough. I'm good with that. That's fine. Whatever. All right, cool. Let's jump back in it. So check this out. Jesus is getting sucked up into the heavens, leaving this earth through this point. This is also known as the gate of the gods. The God's gate. The Stargate. This is whenever many of you have heard me talk about how there's only one actual physical star, a real one, that's not just light, and it's not just a projection or a point of focus. This is it. The apex dome is the star, and it was originally the North Pole star. Sometimes it was known as Kronos, for good reason. It's the eater, right? And we'll show you some more of that type of symbolism here in a bit. Here's another version of it. This one has the the righteous people. And then you see all these strings, how they're all connected, and then the string kind of goes up to the apex dome. That's because this apex dome, and it went by many names. Sometimes it was used as a timekeeping method called a shar. Sometimes it was, seen as an ancient Egyptian sun deity that was this solar disk or whatnot. I'll show you that a little later too. But it pours out energy. Okay, it opens up and it pours energy. It releases energy into this world as the world is also being filled with energy from below, which is why you oftentimes have the apex dome at the top and then a well or a volcano or some sort of inner earth entrance right below it, right? They have the lamb here, which is symbolic of light, etc. This one, let's zoom in on it just a bit. So you can see the apex dome a little better. That's a little grainy up there, but there it is in all of its glory. That is not the sun. I just want to be very clear about that. How do I know it's not the sun? Because I've poured over hundreds and hundreds of images, and I've gotten context. I've received context from those images, and I've put the similarities together. They often, and I'll show you, they depict the sun and the moon alongside of this, right next to it, sometimes inside of it, actually. Here's another version of it. This is a depiction of the flood where the sky opens up. There's the depressurization clouds up above. I'm not sure exactly what to make of these weird UFO-looking eyeball deals that are like crying all over the world. Kind of reminds me of Alice in Wonderland. I don't want to get too deep into that right now, but I'd be interested in hearing you guys' theories of what that could be, especially with the plasma apocalypse lens. Pardon me. All right, let's continue on. Here's a stained glass window featuring the apex dome. Now, these stained glass windows, you got to learn how to read them, basically. They can be hard to look at. But here it is right here. See the apex dome up there in the corner? They often put it up there in the corner. Over here, okay? It's not a part of a circle or anything. It's a part of the firmament, and it is a dome that is upside down. When you hear me talk about the inverted dome, this is the one I'm talking about. Here's another version of it from medieval times. We've got the apex dome with the hand coming down out of it. Sometimes it's a helping hand. Sometimes it's a hand making little peace signs and gestures and whatnot. Here's another one. Now this up here, I believe this is Greek or Latin. I translated it earlier, and up here it says something to the effect of the lights are within the firmament, or something to that nature. So you can see like portion of the word firmament right there, right? This is one of the versions of the apex dome. This is the other right above, right up there at the top. Let me zoom in on that real quick. Up here at the top, this is the actual apex dome. Down here, they show you a different scene. So when you're looking at these ancient paintings and stuff, oftentimes it can be confusing for us today because only people that read comic books and are familiar with like having different frames within the same page, different images and pictures that are happening, that's how they drew quite often back in those times. Actually, you can see a page break right here, right? But there's different things happening. So this right here is that same apex dome with the sun and the moon inside of it. This is not, I know many people, especially within academics, they believe this is a sphere. It is not a sphere. Okay, and I'll show you why. This is the dome. You're looking at it from a view of straight underneath looking up. It is responsible for creating the stars because of the multitude of weak points on it, openings, little tiny openings that created little mini domes and therefore changed the light that's passing through it to create points of focus that we call stars. Also, a great point of focus called the sun and a projection called the moon, which is the apex dome itself, I believe. So far. All right, here's another version of it. Sometimes they show you something that's obvious. Sometimes it's a little further away. This one's a little further away, taking up most of the space on top. This is showing doomsday, or the day of the dome. That's what's being depicted here. So the angel is blowing the trumpet. The star is falling from the heavens. The people are all passed out. Right? Every knee shall bow. Remember that verse? Why are all the people passed out? Because the atmosphere is depressurizing, and it's probably terrifying to them if they're, not ready and not expecting it. But up here, you can see the same blue, cloudy dome shape right up there. This oftentimes comes right along with the apocalypse. Now, another thing I noticed is it's not always depicted as a perfect dome like a contact lens or, even a snow globe. But sometimes it's something called an aspheric lens. It's just the word spheric and then A in front of it, aspheric, right? So an aspheric lens is really interesting. It differs from a lens, which is just a curved transparent. It's a curved transparent object that you can pass light through, basically is a lens, right? This shape of a lens is this aspherical shape. It actually helps to create a more accurate point of focus. If you just have a regular spherical lens, like a contact lens or whatever, or just like a regular spherical lens, then it will create a spherical aberration, I believe is what that's called. And that we see that on this side as blurry lights in the sky. So I'll give you a perfect example. Comets. Comets are what's known as chromatic aberrations. They're optical effects. So here you can see there's an angel up inside of the inverted dome. This is the Black Mountain, Mount Meru, with the internal fire coming up out of it. Here we have another one, right? The orange background, the mountains shooting straight up into the sky, and some sort of figure giving this guy some instructions from the heavens above in his apex dome. All right, now that we've started to get a feel for it, and I have lots of images, we're going to go a little bit quicker this time. All right, let's step it up. Round 2. Here we have the yellow background once again for the Golden Age. We've got the anode and cathode mountains, Mount Meru, the people passed out, and at the top, above the head of Jesus, the light of the world, we have the apex dome. Once again, notice the swirlies. You see the swirlies up there on the apex dome? I'm going to say apex dome 322 times this presentation. I just made that number up. 418. Somebody's going to have a problem with any number I pick. It doesn't matter. Anyways, this is the apex dome. The light's coming out of it. The inside of it is red. The outside of it is blue in color and sort of wavy as well. Here's another version of the apex dome. This time it's depicted as being above what looks to be Jerusalem, or specifically New Jerusalem, which they say comes down out of the heavens, which I also believe is a dome. So they look up into the heavens and they see New Jerusalem surrounded by fire, the clouds of the apex dome conforming to the shape. Beverly Pyron. What's up, Beverly? Welcome to the Good Vibe Tribe. Nice to have you. Thanks for your support. There's another one inside. There's the same bird as well, the cosmic bird. Here's another apex dome at the very top of this image with the bird, the fire of God coming down. Okay, this is not the point of focus that we call the sun. See the fire coming and it's landing on these people, right? This is Pentecost. This is whenever the Spirit of the Lord descended upon the people from on high, way up high, and it came down and it allowed them telepathy. It charged their bodies, both their spirit bodies and their physical bodies, their ethereal bodies and whatnot, charged it to the point where they could speak to each other telepathically, and each one, although they were native in their own language, they could hear one another speaking different languages in one voice, right? That's telepathy. Here's another version of the apex dome. So we've got somebody over here. Looks like he's standing on top of a lion and destroying a snake. There's the angel and the apex dome with the hand sticking out of it and like a scarf or something. That could be Doctor Who. I don't know. But that is another version of the apex dome. Here's another one. This is inside of an actual dome within what appears to be some sort of cathedral or something, where you have King Jesus and his mother queen and whatnot and all of the, Catholic people. The apex dome right there. Circle within a circle. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. Here's another version of the apex dome. This one depicts the nativity, right? When Jesus was born, Christmas time coming on up. This is the heavenly star. This is the star, the real star, that the wise men followed. This is the original North Star. They suddenly knew where north was. They knew how to get north. They knew how to get home. They knew how to return to the place of emergence, basically, if you're the Hopi. This one's got like a golden ball up there with God smiling on down. That is not the sun, it's nighttime. You see the stars back there? Right. So it's dark when the apocalypse happens. When Jesus is born, he's born in the dark. In the beginning, it's always dark. Okay, that's the first. There's no color in the beginning. In the end, there's all the colors, every single one of them, and they're all mixed together. It's a very rainbow apocalypse. But in the beginning, there's no color whatsoever. And then we transition to one, and then that gives birth to two, and so on and so forth as we go through color spectrum shift. This is on coins, as we have shared many different times together, checking out these older coins, right? This one is, I don't know what to call it, like a cataclysm coin or an apocalypse coin. I think technically the name is the tetragrammaton coin or something to that effect. Here you have the tetragrammaton, Yod-He-Vav-He, up in the top, telling you this is not the sun. This is not a point of focus. These people were not sun worshippers. They were worshiping a different sun entirely, which was steadfast, which was fixed at the North Pole because it's a part of the firmament and it's always in the same spot, and it shines light and it brings things to life and it gives energy. There's plasma tongues coming out of these clouds over here off to the side. The water is lifting up out of the ocean. This looks like water. I don't know. That's how I'm interpreting it. All these architecture in the background, this is because the atmosphere was energetically charged to the point of where thunderbolts, huge ones, not lightning. Lightning that we have today is nothing in comparison to the lightning that will come. Okay? Lightnings and thunderings like you've never seen and heard before. So they have all these little lightning rods on the top of all their little churches or houses, and that's what that's for. And that's where that comes from. Next up, we've got another one. It looks like God is saying peace out, maybe? He's like, peace out. Nope, I'm not doing this. These people are being weird. There's another version of the apex dome. Here's another very bright version of the apex dome. This one up here, you can see it a little bit. You see that squiggly line up there, that blue squiggly line? And then see how these people are clearly looking right up at it? I don't know if you can tell, but there is fire coming down from the heavens from the apex dome. There's a serpent back here. It looks like there's a shield over here. These people look like they're trying to stay amused by the situation. This guy's like, come on, man. This doesn't entertain you? I don't know what he's saying. Lady Dagger Status. Hey, what's up, Lady Dagger Status? High five. Thanks for your support, too. Good to see you here. But you can see the inverted dome up there as well, or a version of it. It's very close, so it's very squiggly. But the further out you get, the more dome shape it starts to take, an inverted dome. Here it is again, boom. This time, let's look below. Now, up above, we see the righteous, right? We all know that, they say the good people live up in the heavens, etc. I'm sure there's some truth to that, at the very least. The angels and all of that, the eternals or whatnot. And then below this blue ring, the apex dome, we have basically hell on earth, as you have an earthling, a lady, and she's surrounded by these. It's too easy for me to dismiss physical, actual creatures that are depicted and say, oh, they're demons. This is all internal. This is like how I feel on the inside when I don't eat my breakfast on time. No, this is depicting an actual physical location, a place, and a thing that happened physically on earth. Okay, now sometimes it's cartoonified. It could be cartoonified that there's fire coming out of this giant Falcor dog's mouth or whatever, right? So I'm trying to stay balanced in these things, not to completely internalize them and not to say it's all 100% physical, like this ladder. Like there's an actual crooked ladder that goes all the way up to the apex dome, and that the angels need to that ladder so they can climb up and down it. That's too literal for me. That's too actual for me, okay? Too physical. But these mountains that the ladder comes up out of, that's actual to me. That's real. That's physical. This is the area, the region at the North Pole, the Mount Meru region. The apex dome up here, that's physical and actual at the apex of the firmament, right? This is Jacob's ladder as well, right? It's also just the beam of energy that shoots up like a giant plant or a root or a reed, or however you'd like to see that, a stalk, a beanstalk. And the angels, the quote-unquote angels, that's electrical phenomenon. That's electrical current that's going up and down. It's also depicted as like cosmic squirrels in the Norse world tree. Now, here's another ancient depiction of the birth of Jesus. Here, I'm going to break it down. Sometimes it's hard to make this stuff out. But this, you see that little bump? That's Mount Meru. Okay, that's the plasma volcano. There's an opening right here. This is little baby mummy Jesus right there. There's his mother, Mary, who's always in this sort of red amoeba plasma sac. I don't know what to call that. There's the quote-unquote three wise men. And then the beam of light that shoots up to the apex dome. Of course, we've got like the golden age background. There's stars in the apex dome as well. All right, so then we've got another version of the apex dome here. Somebody's drawing a portrait. Looks like Mary and Jesus. There's an angel up there in the apex dome itself with the light going up to it. I actually think this light is going up to it in the form of anode, cathode, and Mount Meru. Here's another version of it. Apex dome. Now this is the Nativity, right? And I'm not saying there were three wise men or anything like that, right? So just take the things I say with a grain of salt. Sometimes I just I say the easiest way to describe things for the sake of time. But here it is with the star right above it. That's the star. And you notice that light goes straight down to Jesus. That's because it's terrestrial light, okay? This blue light is not coming down from above. It's going up from below. It's coming from Jesus, who is the light of the world, and it goes upwards as a sword to battle this squiggly light that comes down from the heavens. Right? Ionized hydrogen. This one looks like two hands that are doing like that. Doesn't it kind of look like that? Anyways, this one also depicts the split mountain, or you could say the anode and cathode islands. Jesus in the middle. Looks like he's walking on water. There's people riding on top of fish. I don't know if you saw that. There's some people just riding on top of... That one's not even a fish. That one's just a sea monster. I don't even know what that is. And that's a demon or something. Anyhow, right above Jesus. Boom. This is, you notice how like the water is also a double for like a beam of light, that blue beam. So we've got this line that goes straight up to the firmament, represented by this red arch. And then at the top of the firmament, the top of the dome, we've got the apex dome, the gate of the gods. This blows open, creating that middle circle. Okay, it also looks like an eyeball looking straight down. This is the eye of this big dude up here, which is supposed to be a cartoonified version of God. Here's another version of it. I think I saw this one. He's helping him out here, like he's listening to the voices from the apex dome. Here's another version of it. Now check this out. This one's got little squigglies coming off of it. See all this plasma that's coming down off of the apex dome, and you see how it's layered as well, right? So there it is again. That's the red plasma. This is in what is it? In ancient Egyptian mythology, aka history. There was I'm thinking of the god's name. Tot Ankh Amun. Amun? Is it Amun? Hold on, let me look it up real quick. Amun god. Boom. Is it Amun? No. Amun. Damn, I forgot the name of the god. Amun, God, Egypt, sun rays. Boom, we'll type that in. You guys probably can find it before I can. Here it is right here. Who is this? It's Amun Ra? No. Ra. Well, this is also Ra, okay? It's many different sun deities, but it's red. Right? Like in the middle, that middle portion is red. I'll show you guys in a bit, okay? Because we're actually going to come to ancient Egyptian And we're going to tie in Egyptian to this too. Right now, I just wanted to give you lots of examples. Here it is again. This one's kind of a weird one, but we got this dude hanging down from the firmament, hanging down, coming out of the apex dome up there above. You can see the little flashes of light coming out of it and whatnot. This is seen in alchemical drawings. This is seen in medieval times. This is seen in coins. Here's another coin where you can see the apex dome with the clouds around it right there. Here's another one. Oftentimes they put the tetragrammaton because that's Yahweh up there, or that's what represents Yahweh, was the inverted dome, the eye in the sky. There it is again. Here's another coin that has it. Let's see. This one also has the apex dome up there at the top, the descent of the Holy Spirit. Okay, so there it is at the top. Let's zoom in on it real quick so you can get a little detail. See the stars on the inside. See the red fire of God. Notice how it looks like, you know, an eye with eyelashes and everything, right? That's how it's oftentimes depicted. This one looks like it's possibly Abraham speaking with God. God lives in the apex dome with his hand, the hand of God coming out of the dome, and the blue beam, of course, reaching up to the dome. Here's another version with those three beams. You'll also notice the three mountains in the background, the apex dome, complete with stars. Boom. There are all of the stars in the background of the apex dome. Yellow skies in the back, like we talked about. Here is the angels once more going up to the apex dome on a ladder. Now this shows Jesus and Mary up there. I'll tell you the secret though. They're not really up there. Jesus is earthly. Jesus is born on the earth, right? Goes down into the earth after he dies, and then he rises up and he leaves. But Jesus represents earthly positive energy, right? So why would he be depicted up here in the top? Because it's reflective. The apex dome is reflective, and I'll show you that too. So here it is again, the apex dome, the blue beam shooting up towards it, all the different apostles. Here's what looks to be the story of Jonah arriving in Nineveh from the inside the mouth of the fish, seeking guidance from none other than Yahweh. I'm just saying Yahweh. I know you guys can pronounce Yahweh however you want to. Who lives in the apex dome. Here's another one, right? This one's Moses. Moses also sought guidance from the apex dome. Boom, depicted right here, giving him the tablets and the commandments and whatnot. Here's another version of it. Now this is more of that aspherical lens shape, sort of like what's that thing that hangs down in the back of your throat? You see that thing? All the Muppets have one. That's kind of what it probably most likely looks like instead of an actual contact lens shape or whatnot, right? So let's check this one out. So this one just droops on down like that. That's an aspherical lens, I believe that's called. And it actually creates sharper images, which helps to make, better looking, crisper sun, a more defined sun up there in the heavens, and a sharper quality of the image of the moon, the projection of the moon. Here's another one. This one's harder to spot, but if you look, you can see, look at this. See this clearly a volcano. So this is showing Jesus born in a volcano, okay, which is true. It's a plasma volcano, right? And then the apex dome way up there at the top, handing down the instructions on how to live your life right. Then we have a huge version of the apex dome. Look at this one that actually has the little frillies coming off of it. There's fire and stuff coming off of this because it's plasma. It's unfinished pyramid, which is the plasma volcano. You can see the little frillies coming out, even upside down people looking down from above because that's the moon. Those are lunatics, okay? Those are strange beings from another world, which is the real moon, which is responsible for creating what we call the sun and the moon. See the little frillies coming off of it? Almost looks like chemtrails, actually. like bent chemtrails. There's a good reason for that. It follows suit. It's very similar. Remember, there's currents and stuff up there too. Strong electrical currents. Here's another version of the doom shape at the top. You can see it up there. Here's another version. This one's in an ancient occult sciences book that has some images that I really love. This is a top-down view of Mount Meru, looking down into the depths of the earth itself. But if we look above Mount Meru, we've got Hermes, who represents the beam of energy, Jacob's ladder, all that stuff, by his staff, not by his humanoid form. And then at the top, we've got the circle and then the circle inside. And then we also have a new introduction. You see the inverted dome right there with the angels? We have the deadlights. So those of you who are familiar with Pennywise and Stephen King and the movie It, right? These are the deadlights. This is where the deadlights come from. Okay, there will be 3 circles in the very middle up here. And this is 3-body problem. This is all kinds of stuff. Here's another version of it. You see the stars clearly up there as the hand reaches out of the apex dome attached to the top of the firmament. Here's another version. This is more of the aspherical lens type where it kind of just gradually droops down like the thing in the back of your throat. Mary and Jesus being reflected in the image above. If you just take them out of the way, because they're just cartoonifications of natural phenomenon, okay? For me, okay? If you think they're up there, that's fine. That's totally okay. But if you take them out of the way, you can see what really is there, which is this blue, icy covering, which is the dome itself. And then we have the other circles representing the depressurization points in the firmament. Here's another version of it. Up here you can see, man, I gotta like switch these pictures up here. There we go. All right, so here you can see the apex dome up here coming down. All the disciples. This is from the Book of Kells, which also features the apex dome, or at least a version of it, or what appears to be a version of it, with the anode and cathode on both sides there. Yellow background. Here's also the Golden Age. Jesus looks like he's getting baptized in this particular image, but you also see standing in what looks like a mountain or something right there. You see that? It looks like he's standing in rock that's full of water or something, right? It's because that water is the water of life, which is plasma, a river of plasma that shoots up out of it. And then you see the blue beam shooting all the way up to the hand of God, who is reaching down to touch him from the apex dome at the very top up there, the top of the firmament. Here's another version of it, just a little cartoony kind of a drawing. You'll have the cross. Sometimes it's upside down, right side up, whatever. It's still the beam, the sword that shoots up out of the rock, which is Excalibur. This represents Mount Meru down here. And then the apex dome at the very top. These people, I don't know what's going on right there, so I'm just going to skip that part. All right, here's an alchemical drawing that features the apex dome. Lots of ancient knowledge within this alchemical drawing. I just want to bust it down, break it down real quick. Clearly, you have another volcano, right? These are plasma volcanoes. They go off. We have the phoenix, which is the cosmic bird. We have, well, one of these is probably either both phoenixes or eagles or something. Either way, they're both basically symbolically the same. There's an owl over here. We've got the tree of life. Sandy Smith! High five, Sandy Smith. I'm going to try to... There we go. Good to see you. So it says Arbor Vita. That means the tree of life. And right above the tree of life, there should be an apex dome. Ah, there it is. Boom. We see it. We see the stars in it. Right? It's not like a whole background. Like you see there's stars back here. No, it's not. The stars are contained in the apex dome. I'm not saying... Let me... back up, because I know what I'm talking about, and I don't want to mislead anyone or miscommunicate. The actual points of focus called stars do not exist within the apex dome. The apex dome is responsible for casting them out, for making the stars, okay? But due to the inconsistencies on its surface. And you can see this because you see all these beams of light shooting out of this thing, right? All right, and then we've got the constellations and the planets as well. That's another thing that I'm working on as far as the theory goes. I'm going to show you guys some of that too. Here's another version of the apex dome, inverted dome at the top of the sky. Here it is again with the clouds coming down, the name of Yahweh up inside of it. Now this is how you know it's not the sun and the moon. The sun and the moon are depicted right here in this alchemical drawing, right? We've got the sun represented right here and the moon represented right here by this woman, right? So we can therefore deduce up there at the top, that's not the sun. These people were not sun worshippers, okay? They were, I don't know what to call this. They were dome worshippers. Like, I don't know what else to call it. This part of the dome lights up too, okay? Because whenever the energy reverses in our world, lights shoot up out of the earth in beams, and they light up the firmament, and people can see the firmament. And so you can see the apex dome too. Here's an example of the sword or the beam of light that shoots up to touch the apex dome on this coin with Yahweh's name on the inside. This one is the classic Mount Meru, the nativity scene. This dude's Joseph, his father, he's always depicted as falling asleep, right? That's the depressurization getting to him, I bet. But inside of this hollowed out mountain, we have a light that shoots all the way up to an inverted dome, the apex dome. Boom. Here's another version of it. This one actually shows you the stars inside of it, right? With the sun and the moon. So we know that this is not the sun. It is not the moon. It's the origin of both. That's what they're showing you. They're not showing you that the sun and the moon were like, in one close spot and it was really nighttime, but they just wanted to make it fancy and paint the background gold or whatever. No, this was the golden age. It was an amber colored sky at this particular juncture, at this particular point in history. Here it is again, Jesus up there in the apex dome, right? And oftentimes I'm going to get to this thing with the figure holding out his arms or holding up his arms and how that's related to the apex dome. Here it is again. You can see the circle within the circle. The doom shape, the dome shape. You guys may have heard of the Doomsday Book. That's just Doomsday Book. They're just taking a census of who survived, whose family survived that particular reset. Here's another one of some sort of holy person, prophet, etc. Here's the inverted dome at the top with the stars inside of it. Not sure what he's holding on to there. The fingers reaching down, clearly throwing his angelic gang signs, right? Light coming out of the middle of it. You notice the light doesn't come from here out. The light comes from the center, right? That's the depressurization point, the actual hole, the dark hole, the black hole. Here it is again, up there. Boom. Let's see. This one's a little harder to see, so I'll point it out for you. Here it is right over here on the side. That's the apex dome up there. This one's at the top, gold background. Once again, blue beam shooting up to the apex dome. This one is, again, Jesus is just hanging out. He's just hanging down from the heavens. Now, I'm going to make a very good point with this whole Jesus's feet hanging down from the sky thing, okay? And remember, he's not like hanging or he's not stuck. He's supposed to be ascending and disappearing, leaving this world, right? So you can see the inside is red, the outside is blue there, boom. Here's another one of the aspherical version of the apex dome coming down, the clouds underneath it, the God figure inside of it, or sometimes the bird. This one actually has the depressurization point and the opening right there beneath the bird, as you can see, right? The sky will open. It will recede like a scroll being rolled up as the stars swirl around and move about. Here's one of my favorite ones of Jesus and his ascension. Everyone is like, oh my God. And he's like, I know. I just made that up. Inside is red. Boom. Outside is that wavy blue. You see that? You'll notice that if you look in Middle Eastern drawings and stuff, you'll start seeing that they turned those wavy lines into things. Okay? They cartoonify everything. They personify everything as well. But keep this one in mind, okay? Jesus and those wavy blue lines. Here they are again. The wavy blue lines surrounding the apex dome. This one has Jesus kind of like hanging out of it, but also going up into it. Wavy blue lines. I mean, it looks like electricity, doesn't it? It sure does to me in this one. Here he is again. This is Mount Meru, where he leaves, where he is born, where he dies, where he resurrects. Okay, there's his feet, right? It's a flat mesa, flat mountain, high and lofty mountain. I mean, it's a cartoon. Obviously, it's not like a tree stump, like really small, and these people are just Titanic, you know what I mean? It's just a cartoon. But he's getting sucked up into the inverted dome, which this one, they do a really good job of showing all these little plasma filaments that are coming out of it. That's because this is the head of Medusa as well. These are the snakes of Medusa, which is why she's often only shown as a head, right? I know that in modern movies, they'll cartoonify her and give her a body and give her a voice and all that stuff. Here it is again. This is the night of 1,000 points of light. You've got all these little quote-unquote angels or plasma balls, plasmoids, toroidal fields, electric toroidal fields. This is the covering angel, the cherub, which is a sprite, basically. And here's the apex dome at the top. There it is again with the stars in it and everything. Here it is again. Here's a close-up version of it. Notice the wavy blue lines. Also notice the weird asparagus trees. You'll see these a lot. What are these? Do these even exist? Do you guys know in the chat? Do these exist in real life? Have you guys ever seen anything that looks like these asparagus trees? I don't know what else to call them. They just look like giant asparagus or something. But you'll see these when you start researching medieval artwork, especially in bestiaries. The plant life was altogether different because the atmosphere was altogether different, right? Blake, thank you so much. I just want to say thank you once again because your donation is blinking. So it reminded me to say thank you again for your donation. That was extremely kind. I appreciate it. All right, let's continue on. At the top, you can see the stars within the apex dome, which has the wavy snake-like lines around it. I said snake-like purposefully. Here it is again, off here in the corner as a helping hand. Here it is again, but this time it looks like demons or phantazoids, some otherworldly creatures, either coming down out of it, right? In which case they'd be like alien. They're all very hairy, right? So they sort of have like a Bigfoot vibe or a Chewbacca sort of vibe, right? The Dogman tribe vibe. And then we've got this guy standing in here. This is probably just representing the split mountain of Mount Meru. The fire is inside of it. Satan being released. Maybe they're all getting sucked up too. There's the wavy blue lines of the apex dome. That's where Jesus went too. Now these might be coming or going. I can't tell in this particular picture. Here it is again, the birth of Jesus. This time they made it not blue, but like a golden color. The light shining directly down to the baby who is born directly beneath it, as well he should be. He should be born at the most prominent spot, at the place that is the most energetically charged place on Earth, which is at the North Pole. Boom, upside down. That's not the sun or anything. It's not like high noon or anything like that. Here's the apex dome again. This time there's a dove coming up out of it, and up here in the corner. Here's another version. There's an angel or some saint or somebody that's hanging down, offering a rag to like this dude who's bending over backwards. Now, I'm just going to comment on this real quick because I could do a whole video, and I already have, about this. Okay, there's the apex dome up there. And this guy's bending way over backwards. Why are they showing us this? I study ancient Oblivion and things like the medieval times and ancient Greece and stuff like that. And I also study, as a part of that, legendary tribes of mutated humans. Entire nations, entire islands and tribes of people who are mutated in the exact same way as one another. The Blimmy is a good example of that. The monopods are another good example of that. This is an ability that some people get. Okay, this all has to do with the elastin and the collagen that's in your skin. When the atmosphere is electrified, it reproduces that a lot more. Basically, you don't really grow old. Your skin becomes very stretchy. Your muscles are a lot more stretchy and stuff. And you can stretch and you can contort your body and stuff. Not everybody, but I'm sure many people, especially depending on your proximity to cosmic rays and stuff like that. Here it is again. Jesus, boom, baptism, inverted dome at the top, the pointy mountains, the angels are there. Apex dome at the top, boom, Jesus getting baptized. Apex dome, boom, at the top. Hand coming out of it, throwing the angel gang sign. Boom, apex dome at the top of the firmament, hand coming out of it. This one almost looks like it's water, like there's ripples of water. You see that? Let's zoom in on that one. I don't know, you tell me. Could be, possibly. Or there could be layers to the apex dome. I'll bet you there's 7 layers. Like a 7-layer burrito. There's all the demons fleeing and stuff. All right, let's continue on. There's another one. This one almost looks kind of Asian. Let's check this one out. So this one, upside down dome, boom, apex dome, god, creature, person, thingy in the middle. The energy is going into this person's mouth, just like it did with the apostles on Pentecost, right? They're pouring out some sort of demon or something. The upside down hanging demon, or I don't know what that's about. All right, let's continue on. Another one. This is the aspherical style. What's the thing in the back of your throat called? I want to say uvula, or I don't know, vulva? Probably not. I don't know. Anyways, here it is again, up here. Let's zoom in on this one again. We've got some interesting things happening here. Otherworldly creatures. This person is inside of a mountain. That's what this is. That's why it's all cracked right there around the edges. And then the apex dome up top with heavenly people living inside of it. We also have the sort of blue frillies on the sides there. Here it is again. This one's a little harder to see as well, but you can see the frillies going all the way around the apex dome. Here it is again at the very top with what looks like the Bifrost or Bifrost Bridge, however you like. There it is. Now, oftentimes, this is symbolically represented by a crescent moon too. Okay, so sometimes they might show you, like I said, flat on top, contact lens shape, perfect dome or whatever. Sometimes it's aspherical. Sometimes it's crescent looking as well. Sometimes it's wavy, just like in this example right here. All right, so this one's got the golden background, the cosmic bird, and then the apex dome in wave form. Here, I showed this one already. All right, so this one right here is very interesting. So you can see the apex dome blue, right, as a part of the firmament, like the sky and the stars contained therein. This is the vault of the heavens. This is the heavenly vault. Okay. Let's see. You got like all this nature down below it or whatnot. Why would they put that unless it actually exists? You know what I mean? Why would this be seen so prominently across the world and across time? All these examples are from across the world. They're also from across, they span hundreds and hundreds of years, right? And they're all depicting similar things. This guy's shield is a little hidden Easter egg, I guess you could say, which is the apex dome seen from underneath. It's the view from underneath. It's the doom shape, right? You got the circle, the light coming out of the middle portion of it right there. Same thing. Here it is again, up here in the stained glass window. Here it is again. This time it's represented by the blue wings of all of these demonic looking creature dealies that look like they're falling out of the heavens. Apex dome, God figure in the middle, angels up there doing battle, creatures falling out of space. We'll call it space, okay? Creatures falling from the fractal verse into our mesocosm. There it is again. The apex dome. There it is again. It's a little bit more blue with the blue bird. Like I said, it can be a blue bird. Sometimes it is. There it is again. This one looks like it's the temptation of Jesus, possibly. I'm not sure exactly, but it looks like it might be. There's a lot of death and violence and stuff like that. There's some Islamic looking. No, it's not Islamic. This is what do you call that area? Like Siberian Russian script. I don't know what to call that. But anyways, this is the inverted dome at the top. Here it is again. This guy's looking at it through a telescope. And these represent the constellations up here that it produces. Apex dome, once more. Boom. Here it is again in another one. This one, I believe, also has the sun and the moon. And the stars contained therein, with the squigglies all the way around it. See that? This was a light source as well. Okay, so people from around the world could look up. They could see this was the true North Star. Okay, in the time to come, there's not going to be the North Pole Star the way that we have it today. Everything is going to look much different. The atmosphere is going to be a lot different. So the optics of what things look like and how they appear, and thus how we perceive them and put them through our own perception filters in order to cartoonify them once again into story form, it'll be dependent upon the changes that we go through. Here it is again. Boom. There it is again. This one shows you the firmament, and then it kind of dips down right there in the middle. The red sun. The sun was red back then, by the way. Now, this is Mount Meru back here. I could just tell because I study Mount Meru quite often. But you notice how it also kind of looks like a wolf that's looking up at the moon, howling. That's where that comes from. That's the symbolism of the wolf howling at the moon. Real wolves don't typically howl at the moon just because it's there, okay? That's also the werewolf symbolism as well, because there are tribes of dogmen, or, dog-looking, hairy people from a long time ago. Here it is again. The dome shape. This is actually the dead coming to life as the sky rips open. That's because of all that energy comes into this world. All the energy comes up out of the world, and that's the time of no death, okay? There is no death during this time. Everything comes back to life. Nothing can die during this time. So for some people, that's good news. For other people who, might not enjoy this particular point in history, that might be bad news to them. So you got the dead rising. We got the broccoli trees in the background, some weird spinny wheels in the sky back here, and then the apex dome. Here it is again with the frillies. Here is the energy that comes down from it that goes into the people, this is plasma possession or plasma energetic amplification. Okay, you could call it whatever you like to, but it amplifies your energy, the part of you that's actually you, your spirit, your chakras, your vortices, and your energetic points within and outside of your body. And you get telepathy and things of that nature. Here it is. Here it is holding a ball. Sometimes you might see that. They might have the, we call that deadlights. Here it is again. That's more of the aspherical type right there. Here it is again. The upside down dome, the bowl shape up there in the heavens, the angels falling down or coming down. There's the frillies right there. There's all the demons down on the bottom. And there is the good, Jesus and the good people living up there, which is the actual real moon. The actual moon. Okay, that's the physical portion of what people call the moon. Let's see. Here's another one. This is like a more of an African American version where they have the apex dome at the top, the depressurization clouds all the way around it, and then they have the reflection of Jesus up there in the top, spreading his arms. Here it is again. This is supposed to be from Ezekiel's, the chapter in the Bible about Ezekiel's wheels and the creatures and all that. But up here is the inverted dome, the apex dome up there at the top. Here is Jesus once again getting sucked up into the apex dome on Mount Meru, which is what this is. All the people are gathered together. They witness him ascend. Here is another picture of a person who's actually looks like they're playing with or positioning the stars that are attached to the apex dome. This one actually has 7. This represents the North Pole, the 7 stars, the 7 sisters, the septentrio, the 7 mountains, the 7 plasma volcanoes, which, by the way, their light is reflected off of this reflective ice. So you just see their points of light. When you look up at it, you see stars wherever they're located. All right, here's Jesus again once more in this depiction of the ascension, rising up into, boom, the apex dome. There's the clouds. Now this one's really interesting. This is an alchemical drawing, which actually shows you the deadlights within the apex dome with the frillies and everything, right? Now this is not a dome shape per se, so this would be like you're looking more closer to underneath it. So it depends on your perspective and where you are in the world. If you'll see it as, more oval or oval-like, or dome-shaped or circular. If you're directly underneath it, you'll see it as being circular. This is, the tree of life that goes down into the container or the box, which is Mount Meru, and then that gives you the elixir of life that comes from there, or the fountain of youth. Now this one, many times these things, people believe that they're UFOs. So they see these things that are drawn in the sky, and they think that, look, UFOs existed in the Renaissance. Okay, maybe. I like that theory. I think it's fun. I'll speculate about it and talk about it. However, I think that there are other things that could account for that. Okay, especially when you consider the apex dome, which oftentimes looks like a giant eyeball in the sky or a flying saucer, and especially when you put a blue beam underneath it, then you have a tractor beam, and it's over. Some people can't be convinced otherwise. This is Project Bluebeam as well. Here's the apex dome. There's the anode and cathode lights with the Mount Meru star boom beam going straight to Cowboy Jesus. I'm going to call him Cowboy Jesus. Cowboy Mummy Jesus. I don't know. All right. Here it is again at Pentecost. Here it is again with the hand inside of it and the dove descending. Here it is again with looks like, I don't know, Peter or somebody. God's like talking to Peter. The background is yellow. Once again, that's not like, it's not the 70s and he's inside his house. It's not wallpaper or anything. This is the atmosphere. Looked golden like that. You also want to remember that whenever you have rapid depressurization of the atmosphere, that touches a lot of dominoes. There's a lot of implications whenever the atmosphere depressurizes. worldwide. One of those things is that everything will get quieter. Okay, all this pressure we live in now makes it easier to carry sound waves and light waves and other things. But whenever you take all that pressure away, then it's much harder for sound to travel and to carry. So it'll be a quiet place, just like the movie is named after, right? Here's Jesus, there's the frillies, there's the stars, there's the eye in the sky, the circle within the circle, the doom shape. Once again, here's a coin depicting it as well at the top. Here's Mount Meru with the apex dome at the top. This is the origin of the all-seeing eye in the pyramid, the unfinished pyramid. It's exactly what this is. Here it is again. This light is shining right through this little shack, this little hobble shack. And you see there's a star right there. That's the real star. That's the only actual physical star. The upside down dome, the apex dome. Boom. There it is on the coin. Here it is again, Jesus being baptized. Here it is again. This is the firmament. This is the apex dome inside of it, or on it, attached to the top. You can see the eyeball symbolism. I did a really good video called, I think it's called the Eye God. And that's all about this shape too. But that one focuses more on like the eye symbolic elements behind it, right? Now, you'll see the hand of God coming down with a compass quite often too, reaching down through the apex dome that has the stars in it. You know it's not the sun. You know it's not the moon. It's something else entirely. And there's this hand that comes down and it's got this compass, right? The compass represents Mount Meru in that it's an unfinished pyramid with the eye at the top representing the fulcrum of the compass, right? The square for the Freemasons, that just represents the earth. So this is actually just symbolic for the earth, or the corner of the earth, which is the middle of the earth actually. There's 4 corners. And then Mount Meru there. And then usually they got like an all-seeing eye action, which is just this up here. This is supposed to be like God. Yahweh is depicted as doing this. Jesus is depicted as doing this, holding this compass and measuring out the earth, because this is what terraforms the earth. Okay, mountains come and go every other apocalyptic cycle. Valleys are created. Rifts are torn apart in the earth. Canyons are made as gigantic electrical thunderbolts discharge, making their way down to the surface. Here's the trumpet, the doom shape, the apex dome, is depicted by the wings of the angel in this particular shape. If you take away the body, then you would see an upside down dome right here with another circle in the middle. Okay, a lot of times it's just cartoonified. Okay, the sound coming out of it, when the atmosphere depressurizes and the sky breaks open, I promise you it's going to sound like a horn, like a shofar being blown at the top of your lungs, announcing the coming of the king as the light is born back into the world once more. Yep. Next up, another one. This one shows the apex dome, boom, under the firmament, pow, and then the hand reaching down out of it. This one also, Mount Meru, the split mountain. Looks like a wolf opening up its mouth, trying to like, you know, howl at the moon or whatever. There's Jesus down there. There's the yellow background. There's the angel, whose wings once again represent the inverted dome at the top of the firmament, with the central circle right there in the middle. Let's see what else we got. Here's another one. You'll often see this in like corridors, halls, domes inside of cathedrals, things like that. Inverted dome, red on the inside, blue on the outside. Let's see. Now this one is a good one too. It's a good example too, from like ancient Sumeria, Babylon area. So most people would just use this as a reference to the Anunnaki or Nibiru or whatnot. This inverted dome, which is what is represented by these wings, just like the other angels' wings are. Let me make this bigger so you can see it properly here. All right, so this is the dome shape right here. This is the actual apex dome. This is the depressurization point, the central point where the light comes out of. This is the light coming out of it right there in the middle. It also has the bird shape because the blue beam directly beneath it, Jesus being born, shoots up. That beam of energy shoots up and creates a pillar of light that branches out and separates up high in the sky. Mazwazzle gave me $5 and says, Jay, you're awesome, and I love listening to you. Oh, let me heart that. Thank you so much. All right, let's continue on. We're talking about the doom shape, the inverted dome, the apex dome at the top of the firmament. It is not the sun. It is not the moon, but it's responsible for both, as well as the constellations, the stars, the other smaller points of focus. Did you know that there are about 10,000 observable stars in the sky? With your human eye, you can see about 10,000. Did you know there are about 10,000 observable craters that you can see on the moon? Interesting. Here's the apex dome up here. Once again, the dome shape. Sometimes they show it blue, sometimes they show it red. It can change color. Like I said, we go through color spectrum shifts. It all depends on the circumstances. Here we have the two pillars, anode and cathode. They spread out on the top like that. Damn, I don't have a picture of like sky pillars, but if you guys look up sky pillars, okay, pillars of light, there's many different ones you can find, but especially those that are in a mist or in slightly foggy type atmospheres, right? They shoot up and they branch out, and there's actually the central beam keeps on going. So it looks like the fleur de lis, or like a flower that splits out. It also looks like a bird if it gets big enough. And that's what these pillars represent, okay? They're shooting up from the earth and spreading out at the top. That's what they represent. They don't represent some building somewhere that doesn't exist, okay? All right, continue on. Here it is again, Jacob's ladder, going all the way up to the apex dome. Why? Because they're getting out of here. This might as well be NASA and Elon and stuff. I'll come back to those guys towards the end, but it's all connected, okay? They want out. That's the entry. That's the star gate. The gate that's in the star, the opening in the star, the portal. Here it is again, going up to the apex dome. Here it is again with the angel, weird looking angel, checking it out, boom. Here it is again, directly above Mount Meru, with the blue beams reaching all the way up to it. Here it is again with the wavy lines and the frillies and the asparagus trees. I think I might have seen that one again. That might be a duplicate. Here's the hand coming out of it in this mosaic. Look at the detail on these things. That looks like, is that the burning bush or is that a chili plant? I don't know. I zoomed in too far. But either way, there's the apex dome up there. Boom. All right. Here it is again. Like, where is this guy? You know what I mean? Where are you? You know, where are you on Earth that it looks like this? This is the result of like strong and powerful electricity that pulls the Earth or muddy parts all the way up until it hits the electric thunderbolt, and then it changes, modifies the electrical and chemical bonds, basically petrifying it, making it dense. Here's the apex dome up there. Here's another one. This is a really good one because it really properly displays the firmament, the split mountain, Mount Meru possibly, and then the apex dome in the middle. Here it is again. I like this one a lot. Let me zoom in on this one a bit. Check this one. So this one has all these angels that look like they're just kind of holding on to these branches, right? These are like beams. There's probably 7 of them. I don't know. Let me count, actually. Hold on. Let me see how many there are. Maybe there's 12 or 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so there's 12. Let's see what's below them. There's 3 angels below. And it looks like they're on the roof of a house surrounded by trees. Anyway, as you can see, right up there, that's the firmament. That's a portion of the apex dome. This is that central, the iris to the all-seeing eye. Okay, this is the depressurization point. This is showing it to you in a much grander, bigger fashion because it's very large in real life. Okay, they just cartoonify it and show like a tiny little circle within a circle. But this is showing you how wide it is and how things can easily fit into it. This is the mouth of Kronos, right? Eating his children and whatnot. That's the firmament. Right there. You can see it going all the way around. It's right there up at the top. It's physical. It's the vault of the heavens. It's the sky. Cielo. It's the ceiling. Okay? There is a ceiling to this world. That's what gives you weather. That's pressure. Pressure patterns. Pressure has a lot to do with this. It's pressure release. Here it is again. Here's the apex dome. Now this is getting interesting. This one has flowers for what would be the deadlights. 3 in a row. Right? What do you guys think those are? Any guesses? My guess is that these are reflective or reflecting the light from below, which is anode, cathode, and Mount Meru, respectively. So you always see them reflected downwards. There's a dragon coming out of this one, right? This is where the serpents come from, or dragons, or plasma filaments that undulate down into our world seeking to ground themselves, also attracted to the electromagnetic fields of individuals who they come in contact with, or groups. So that's why your energy, positive or negative, is important. In short, that means it's important whether or not you're a good or a bad person, because it will affect your relationship with these electrical charges, right? Some beneficial, like cold plasmas, some not so beneficial, like the hot ones, or thunderbolts of the gods. There is all these phanozoids, otherworldly space monsters that are descending out of the eye in the sky right here. They're clearly jumping away from it, maybe even being cast out by these other angelic looking people. This guy looks like he just tossed this one out here, right? Get out of my heaven. Anyway, there are otherworldly creatures that I call phantazoids that descend from on high. The Native Americans, quite often in their verbal records, they pass along stories of the animals coming down from the heavens to help, to bring order to the earth after chaos. Here's another one of the inverted dome. I like this depiction as well. You got the different animals surrounding it. You got this god figure in the middle, blue dome. Here's another one. This guy's about to get his hat yoinked right from his head. His turban's about to be ripped off. God does not approve. Is he wearing a hat? Is everyone else wearing a hat? He's like, yeah, no hats. Sounds like when you go to court. Sir, take your hat off. Take your hat off, sir. How dare you wear a hat? So stupid. So dumb. Here's Jesus again getting sucked up into the apex dome up top. Now, this time it's red. Here it is again with the star and the nativity scene as well. These huge mountains that look like something from a Dr. Seuss movie, or The Night Before Christmas or something like that. Here's Mount Meru again, the apex dome at the top. Now check it out. You can see, like, they could have made it a circle. They have plenty of room to continue drawing. It's not a circle. It's not a sphere. People may interpret it like that. So this will be interpreted as Nibiru, especially whenever it's, it's a red spectrum or whatever. This is the Sipapu. This is the opening in the heavens. This is the heaven's gate. This is Mount Meru directly below it. We have another one over here. I think this one's more of the aspherical type, or aspheric lens. Boom, at the top, directly above the mountain, as it should be. Now this one actually looks like a wolf more than the Meru one right over here. You see this? It's Wolf Mountain. You see that? That's why the wolves howl at the moon. Look at that. That's an eye. That's a nose. I mean, that's a wolf. All right, another one. Apex dome at the top of this one. Boom. You can see the inverted dome at the top, right above those two angels acting as the witnesses, anode and cathode. Here it is again. It's a split mountain with the apex dome at the top of it. Here it is again. Same thing. This is going to be found in your Russian nativity scenes, going back into Siberia and those places. They often have a very similar look. The stars in the apex dome itself. Here's Noah and his family saying thank you up there to the depressurization point as the waters have receded. Here's another version of it with many different layers, each one representing one of the planets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then this one doesn't have any planets, just stars, right? That's very interesting. You see the red background? That's not just for, decoration. There's green grass for a reason. The red background was the color that the sky was. It was red. Like I said, it goes through color spectrum shifts, right? Starts off black, totally dark, then purple comes first, and then red comes next, and then orange comes after that, and then yellow, and then it gets, into the other colors that we have today. There it is again up there. Boom. All right. Another one. Apex dome at the top. See it way up there at the top? Let me zoom in on that for just a second. You can see the hand coming down out of it and what looks like another circle there in the middle. Here it is again, this time depicted with the dove. Here it is again, but this time, this one looks a little less dome-like. So it's easy to mistake this for the sun, okay? Which they do quite often within academics, right? Oftentimes they're like, oh, it's the sun. The sun's directly above, but it's blazing red. No. If it's sunrise, I'll give it to you. If it's sunset, I'll give it to you. The sun is directly above, you're not getting the red sun, okay? That's not the point of focus that we call the sun. That's something else entirely. This is the ancient Saturn. This is the ancient eye in the sky. This is the pole star, the actual star. This is the real moon. This is, what's that Egyptian god's name? Now it's bothering me. Hold on, let me look that up real quick. Just one sec. Egyptian god as a sun disk and rays with hands holding ankhs. Aten. Yes, thank you. Okay. I hate that I forget things sometimes just because I'm multitasking and I have brain farts. Anyways, Aten. Oh man, yeah, Aten. This is Aten, basically. Let me get back to these pictures. Okay, so that up there, that's Aten. Okay, you'll see that depicted in all kinds of forms. There it is at the top up there. There it is at the top up there. Here it is again over here. I'll probably make some sort of compilation later on with like some music just only showing these examples because there's so many. Here is a really good one. This is one of my favorite. Remember how I said it's Aten? So Aten is depicted as this sun deity that has these plasma filaments that come out of it that separate at the ends, because that's what plasma does, okay? It divides. It's like a hydra. And they're coming down and they're like, you know, setting these people's heads on fire, which means that they're basically getting telepathy and, you know, they're becoming powerful and energized. And you can see the clear eyeball symbolism, right? This is the eye in the sky with the cosmic bird. It's all there, right? There it is again. This one's more dramatic, I guess you could say, more epic Hollywood looking. Inverted dome. Here it is again. This one's harder to see, but on this coin, you can see that somebody is being crowned, handed a crown, or having their crown taken away. Given that it looked like he was going to yoink that other dude's hat, he's probably taking this guy's crown away, I'm guessing. Right? Apex dome right there. Here it is again with the depressurization clouds. Here it is again at the top, right above the cross, which is where it should be. The sword, the cross, etc. The beam, the pillar, the plank. Here it is again in this Eastern drawing that someone drew on this piece of parchment of some sort of king sitting in his throne, holding his scepter, and right above his scepter with his little cosmic bird on top. Right? I mean, that could be a cactus for the Aztec. It could be all kinds of stuff. We have the inverted dome up here. What is this? I thought that was a hand at first, but now that I look at it, it actually does not look like a hand. What do you guys make of that? A hose? Like a water hose coming down out of the sky and cooling this dude off? I don't know what that is, but it's clearly the inverted dome at the top of the firmament. All right, ancient Egyptian mythology. We have the sun disk. Or the sun boat, right? The barge that Ra rides in, right? So let's check this out. Now, this right here is the depressurization point, which is always red, or usually red, okay? And then underneath it, we have the dome. This is the dome shape with the people inside of it and everything, right? Depending on your perspective, it'll change how it looks. Directly underneath it, we've got your Atlas pose, your Jesus on the cross, your Odin or Oten hanging on the Yggdrasil, on the tree or whatever, right? Even this dung beetle represents the squatter man, the plasma, that the toroidal field that shoots up. It goes into a Z-pinch in the middle as it folds in on itself, and then it branches back out again. But that's what this, I believe this is, okay? There's no boats that just fly around up in the sky. I know people could make the case for like UFOs, but then explain this other stuff. What is all this? What's happening? This makes sense to me. This is showing us our world. This person is an Atlas type. Atlas held up the sky. He didn't hold up a boat. He didn't hold up the earth. He held up the firmament, okay? Which is a part of the earth, technically. Here it is again, right? Sometimes this goes by Shu. There's different names for these gods and goddesses, okay? This is like Nut up top, who represents the firmament. Then you can see the inverted dome made by the hands arching upwards. The depressurization point up here, represented by Ra. And then Geb, representing the earth down below, okay? All right, let's continue on. Here it is again. Like I said, sometimes you have the cosmic bird directly below because that plasma shoots up and then it spreads out into auroras, right, as it wraps around there. Now check this out. This is a medieval depiction. This is actually on, what was it, the Church of St. John or somebody? I can't remember. Cathedral of like St. John? I can't remember. But it's a depiction of Satan, and it looks like he's eating somebody. Does this look familiar to some of the other pictures we've seen of someone else? See the little frilly? See the little serpentine opening there? Interesting. We'll come back to that. Here it is again, the apex dome at the top with all the saints below and the cherubs on either side. Here's Jacob's ladder with the apex dome over here on the side. This high and lofty mountain over here is probably a type of Mount Meru. Otherworldly creatures coming up from the abyss on the bottom down there. Here it is again. This time it's depicted or cartoonified as a scroll. Okay, so you got the apex dome right here. This represents the firmament up here. And then you have, of course, that central depressurization point, and there's the apex dome. Boom. It's over here too. Some people might say, oh, look, it's the sun. It just represents sunlight, but this is not the sun. See how they have other items for us to take into consideration? This builds context, right? The dove is not associated with the sun, okay? The dove is associated with this, heaven, or the entrance to heaven. Here it is again, another apex dome right there, otherworldly creatures as well. Here it is again with the blue beam coming all the way down to Jesus, who is being tucked in Mount Meru. Here it is again, right above Jesus, once again. Here it is again. Here's the squiggly lines. Now this guy is like some prophet or wise man or something. I don't know exactly who he is, but he's looking up in wonder at this apex dome. You see all the frillies, right? From the electrical current and the fog and all that. You see the stars that are part of the apex dome. Now, keep that in mind as we take a look once more at these pictures of Jesus ascending up into the apex dome with the frillies. Right? And sometimes it shows you the phoenix, like I said. All the light coming out of the top here. Apex dome on the top. Here it is again. This is more of a directly underneath it version because it's circular instead of dome-like. So like I said, if you're directly underneath it, it'll look circular to you. This is like the Garden of Eden being portrayed, the Golden Age background. There's actually a hand up here in the top. Take a look up here. And you can see all the stars are right there inside of it too, right? Hand in the top, reaching down through the sky. Now, here we have the apex dome, boom, broccoli trees, and the sun, the moon, right, which are what's created by it. But if you take into consideration the third circle being the halo of this person, those are the deadlights. Here's one that's often shown on like Ancient Aliens and stuff like that. Everybody thinks this is a flying saucer. They think this is just a UFO with like 4 different beams of light. I don't know why, but they're, shooting their light down at the people. To me, this is the apex dome. Okay? I can't say for certain, but like I said, it looks like it. I mean, look, all the people inside of this mesa looks like a tree trunk or something, and they're all inside of it. It looks like there's something happening here, and there's some sort of figure like blessing this person over here or something. I don't know. I think that's the apex dome. All right, here it is again, cartoonified. Sometimes people see what they believe are beings fighting, going to war, chariots, armies in the heavens, up there fighting each other. There's a war in heaven, right? This was described by Josephus and many others, and whenever he described the sacking of Jerusalem by Rome. He said that they looked up and they beheld the strangest sight. They saw armies in the heavens fighting one another. He also saw a beam of light that looked like a sword hanging over the heavenly city. Now, I know where this is. This is above the North Pole. So that makes me wonder where this Jerusalem was when they talk about it. Here's Jacob's ladder going up to the apex dome once more. Here it is again. Kind of a little bump right there. Mount Meru, the red sun. Here it is from the straight on version. He's standing on it, right? Another scene down there. Here it is again, apex dome, pow. This one's an ancient rock. See this black stone? So we've got like a centipede, some animal stuff right here. There's a turtle. And then we've got these 3 depictions. Now, typically, I'm just going to tell you they represent the sun and the moon. Okay? This is not the moon. This is the apex dome. Just like we've been showing you with the sun on one side, or Shamash, and then the apex dome, and then the other side is the moon god or goddess. I think the moon goddess off the top of my head was Sen, actually. Inanna. I mean, there's like all kinds of names for them, right? Anyways, here it is again. One and then the other. Now on this one over here, this is interesting because you can see these squigglies that sort of go all the way across and make an X, right? Those are the rivers of Eden being reflected back down, right? As seen in the moon sometimes. Let's check this one out. So this one's like, looks like the Garden of Eden or something. The apex dome was there in the beginning. The hand coming down out of it, the red sky. We saw that one already. Here it is, a more like pulled out version of it. So you can zoom in. You can see this huge, massive building. And then at the top, we have this guy. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure who that's supposed to be. Maybe Jesus. And he's sitting on it. He's sitting on the apex dome. So this is a view from directly below. You see that? And you can see that it's kind of resting on this mesa right there. And then directly above, we've got this six-pointed sort of wheel in the sky. Six-spoked wheel in the sky. Here it is again from far away, further away. Here's another version of it. This would be like the directly beneath it view, right? The apex dome. Here it is again, directly beneath it. Also, as a bonus, you get the keyhole shape going on. You see the keyhole shape, right? That's where the beam shoots up. When you're closer to it, then it'll be wider until it gets further and further away, getting smaller and smaller until it hits that dome at the top and creates that keyhole shape. All right, let's see. See all the fire coming down too? You see that? The Bible quite often talks about like fire mixed with blood. And hail, pieces of the ice, the firmament falling apart, coming down, plasma dropping in with it, etc. Here it is again. You can see the same little, fire things coming out of it, little fireballs coming out of it or whatever. Here's another version. That's more of the eye in the sky typical look for it. That's how it typically looks. This is the all-seeing eye, the eye in the sky. This is a directly beneath it view. You can almost see a complete circle right there. Not the sun, once again. This says Day of Judgment right here. So this is showing you Judgment Day. And this represents like the wall, the structure of the hardened gas, which is the firmament. I'll show you that in a bit. This is the apex dome. Boom. Here it is again up top. This one's more dark in the middle. This represents the blue star Kachina, right? Removing its mask, which means its face becomes dark in the middle, no longer have any light. So it removes its mask when it goes to the plaza, which is the center of the world. And Huitzilopochtli, also the sun god of the Aztecs, I think. Here's another one that's often mistaken, I believe, for aliens or whatever. I think that the artist was drawing the apex dome. Right here. You can clearly, this guy's checking it out right next to me. See that guy? Boom. It's looking up in the sky. It's a dome. It looks like a dome at least. This is what it looks like over here. Light coming out of it just as it's been drawn before. It's just smaller, shown with further away perspective. Now let's talk about Atlas. Okay, we saw the Egyptian pose, the Atlas pose, holding up that red ball above it, right? We saw the dung beetle and all that type of stuff. Here's Atlas again. What is Jesus' dad doing over here? This is Joseph, falling asleep at the wheel. Once more, Joseph is always passed out at the birth of Jesus. But however, this is not Jesus. This is Atlas. Atlas holds the sky up. Here's the two pillars, anode and cathode, right? This is the apex dome with the stars in it. And he's the squatter man. Could also be Heracles. Heracles also held up the sky. Here it is again, Atlas. If you see an Atlas holding up the globe Earth, that's not Atlas. That's a false god. Okay, it's not Atlas. This is Atlas. Atlas holds up a portion of the sky that I call the apex dome. He holds up the firmament at the fulcrum, at the center point, at the axis mundi. Or at least, he is basically, he's not a man, he's not a person, not a human, but it's plasma that shoots up and then splits off as, a pillar of light in the sky and wraps around up here. This is also your vav, your tent peg, your nail, right? But as you can see, they put all these stars right there on it. Now, oftentimes, over time, people started to get tricked into this spherical ball model of frickin' everything as the world shifted into space balls and whatnot. So they put another dome on the other side of this one, and they made it like a a stellar globe or whatever, right? But it's not. There's an inverted dome at the top of the world, held up by Hercules or Atlas, either one, and a plethora of other people probably, and it touches the sky. Actually, I think this is Hercules, yeah, helping Atlas out. That was one of his labors. I can't tell which one is Hercules. I think this is Hercules. Yeah, he's got all the proper clothing to be Hercules. So this is Hercules holding up the sky for a moment. You can see the constellations up here. Now, obviously, there's sky over here on the other side, right? That's the rest of the firmament. This is the apex dome. Here he is again, holding it up. Sometimes depicted as like Orion and things like that. Here he is again, holding it up with the serpent wrapped around him. Here he is again, holding up the sky, or the apex dome, represented by the constellations and stars. See that? This is the moon. That's the actual moon, okay? It's a part of the firmament, or Antarctica. Or, you know, the ice portion of Antarctica. Here it is again. I like this one, so I used it for the thumbnail. This is the firmament going up. This is the apex dome coming down. These are the stars. This is the wheel in the sky, depending on your perspective. This one was interesting. They drew what looks like Atlas, but he's holding up the moon. And like I said, that apex dome, that's the physical, actual, real source of the projection that we call the moon, right? Somebody took this picture. This was in the news a while back. Somebody waited 3 years to take this perfect picture, and everyone just oohed and awed. I mean, like, good job. I think it's okay. It's not bad. It's nice. It's awesome timing or whatever. Looks like Jesus is holding up the moon. But why it is awesome is because this speaks to us subconsciously. We know this to be true. We know that this Jesus Atlas type archetype or motif is supposed to hold up the moon. That's why this is important. And not only that, but he's standing on the top of the peak of a mountain, right? So there he is, symbolically on Mount Meru, the beam of light shooting up and then wrapping around the moon. Boom. Here it is again, an ancient, looks like, you know, Middle Eastern, Mesopotamia, maybe somewhere around there. So we've got the anode and cathode, the two witnesses on either side. We've got the Atlas figure holding up the inverted dome, the apex dome at the top of the firmament. Let me zoom in a bit. We've got the depressurization point there in the middle, the sun disk, etc. What is he doing in this? Did I just... Oops, I clicked the wrong button. Oh no, hold on. Okay, I'm going to have to zoom through a bunch of these because we've covered a lot. Where was I? We saw that one. I clicked the wrong button. I went over to stupid Ben Franklin. Yeah, I was slamming on that story in one of my presentations a long time ago. Let's see. We've got past all these. We got past all these. The coin, the Satan guy that eats people, Kronos, inverted dome, the UFOs. We talked about the armies in the sky. We showed cathedral examples. We showed architectural examples. We showed drawings, paintings, famous drawings, possible UFOs. Oh, yeah, that's right. Then we got to Hercules and Atlas. Those motifs, the Atlas motif holding up the sky, which is really holding up the apex dome of the firmament. Here we go, the Middle East. That's where we were. Boom. All right, sweet. So here's another depiction of it. This is Hercules helping out Atlas to hold up the apex dome. And look, you can tell where they are. This is the Bear constellation. That's up north, right? So they're showing you they could put those any constellation they want on there. Here it is again. Atlas holding up the sky. Here it is again. This time it's depicted as a crescent. Now, like I said, that apex dome lights up. And I believe, and I found evidence that, you know, helps me to see that it goes through phases just like the moon, which is the projection of it. Okay, so if the moon is going through phases, it stands to reason the apex dome is also going through its own light phases. One of those is this crescent. This becomes the horns of the bull of heaven, right? The bull of the apex of the sky. Right here, it's just shown right there. So people could easily mistake this for like, oh, well, that's the moon. Like, I get that. It could totally be the moon, but the moon with a freaking star inside of it, that's not the moon. You know what I mean? The more images we have, the more context, you know, for a deeper message. Now, this is interesting. This is more like a little basket I found online where you could put stuff in here or whatever, but that's accurate. That's more accurate than the other ones because it is hollow. This is the apex dome. You have to imagine the firmament like going both ways around it, right? But if you're on the top of it, this is a crater, okay? This is the chalice. This is the cup. And it goes down. Like if you were walking around on top of the firmament, you would be able to go all the way down into this huge crater. All right, boom. Another Atlas pose. We talked about Ra, and we talked about the sun deities, or some of them. We talked about the sun barge, or boat, or disc shape, dome shape. Oh, here we go. Now check this out. Here's Ra traversing the sky, basically. You can see the depressurization point up there on his head. The bird face directly below it. I think that's Ra. Yeah, it should be Ra. I don't know. If I get something wrong, just, it's fine. Take it with a grain of salt, okay? Anyways, see the snake? These are the frillies under the dome, which is this boat right here. This heavenly boat, this sky boat. It was seen as that sometimes. But you can see the little frillies. Like I said, just look for more context. We know what that is, right? We've seen that shape a million different times. That's the thing that ate Jesus. Right? Those are the exact same frillies. Or Jesus got sucked up and, you know, however that happened or whatever. It was same frillies. You can see them right here, right here. This is plasma represented in ancient Egypt by snakes or serpents, right? This same frillies right here. And also Kronos, the horned one, right? This is on a cathedral. This is just a relief, just a portion of a relief, I should say, where this is showing Satan. Remember, Santa comes from above. Right? Drops down through the chimney of the world, comes in here, you know, leaves coal, burns things, petrifies things. This is all going back into our ancient Oblivion. But this is probably Jesus, I'm guessing, or a type, at least. It doesn't matter, really. It's Kronos, and he's going to eat everybody. Why? This is not an actual demon, not an actual devil, not an actual monster, okay? This is a strong personification and cartoonification of people getting sucked up into the heavens when the atmosphere depressurizes and Archimedes' principle kicks in, increasing buoyancy the world across, making everything weigh nothing and float, and then the winds pick up and everything gets sucked up into the heavens and eaten by Kronos. Good news is if you survive, you'll live during the Golden Age. All right, here's a close-up. Unnecessary close-up. Here it is again. You can see this is the dome. This is the apex dome, the bottom of it, shaped as the crescent from the side. And this is the depressurization point above it. Here is the firmament up here, right? It comes down like that. There it is again. This time you can see the electricity all the way around the depressurization point, right? So this would be like the apex dome, depressurization point, or the center circle, the eye, and then all the plasma that is wrapped around it, okay? Because the plasma comes out, and then it doesn't just come out and just leave the sky, okay? Most likely it's going to conform or wrap around that apex dome. So it's going to come out of the iris and wrap around the rest of the eye, spreading around that dome before it starts to like peel off and come down into our world as the winds carry it down. Here it is again. This is the sky barge, right? I mean, why else would it be shaped? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't want to question boat makers or whatever, but here's the bird. Here's the depressurization point. There it is again. Boom. Here it is again. Oh, Shu. So this one, the Atlas figure in this one is Shu. Sometimes it's Nun. Sometimes it's Shu. Shu represents the air. This is appropriate because there's a zephyr right here. A zephyr is a westerly wind that comes from within the earth, which west is down. So the wind comes up out of the earth. It's the breath of the earth, okay? And it rushes up out of Mount Meru. And that's why Shu is the air god. And that's also why there's all this depressurization fog around here, because this is where the island at the North Pole is, basically. And Shu is holding up, or the arms make the apex dome of the firmament, basically. Here it is again. You can see the sun, or what appears to be the sun, right there. That's a sun. I know what the sun looks like. You got a dot in the middle, and the lines coming off of it, right? That's sunlight. What's that? That's the apex dome, right? Now, the original symbol for the sun was a circle with a dot in the middle. That's the apex dome. That's the original sun. That's the ancient sun. That's not this garbage. I don't like this one, okay? You guys can like it. That's fine. I don't like this sun. I don't like this point of focus. It's out of control. It's in flux. It's too hot. It's too powerful. It's too direct. It's too strong. And it's getting worse, okay? And it will eventually burn the surface of the world until it returns and creates a syzygy between the moon, the sun, and this apex dome as they align. Here it is again, another version, right? There's the apex dome up there, but here's the boat version of it right there. Now, this is the ancient Hebrew cosmology. Let's check this out. I'm going to show you, thank you for, hanging in there as we looked over all those pictures. Now I'm going to get more into how I believe this is created, actually physically created. 459 people watching. Well, high five to all you guys. I'm glad you find this interesting. And I hope you find some good vibes and some good company in the chat. Everybody being cool in chat? Let's see. Yes. Okay, cool. All right. Now, let me jump back into this ancient Hebrew cosmology. Now, let's zoom in on a couple different things here, okay? At first glance, all you see is just the ground and the dome. Then you're like, oh, there's the moon. Oh, there's the sun. Oh, there's some stars, right? But did you notice within the firmament, there are openings? These are weak points, okay? And in these places, you're going to have, so there's an inverted dome, the apex dome up here. This is the biggest one. If there are other openings in the firmament, they're going to follow suit. They'll just be smaller. And they will create their own projections called planets. Possibly. Okay? This is, from here on out, this is just, I mean, it's all speculation, I guess you could say, but this is even more speculation because this is me sharing off the top of my dome, my theories, works in progress with you. Okay? Feel free to take it, whatever resonates and whatever helps you in your research. Okay? So, windows in the heavens, openings in the heavens, weak points on the firmament that create their own little domes or whatever, right? Now, this one says gate of heaven on it. That means opening. That means there's an opening in the firmament. You can see the depressurization clouds right there. You know what I mean? Like, these are regular clouds. These are earthly clouds down here. These are depressurization clouds, mist and fog and stuff, right? Gate of the heavens. Heaven's gate. Just like that cult that wore the Nikes, right? These people are, there's truth to everything. The problem is whenever some people get a little bit of truth, it resonates so strongly with them that they just believe wholeheartedly whatever follows, which if it's not the truth, then you're following a cult. This is a movie poster for the movie Interstellar, and it basically shows the same type of symbolism with the blue beam going all the way up to the inverted dome, the apex dome at the top, right? That's also the Vav shape. This is a nail. You can see it comes to a point just like that. That's why the nail symbolism with Jesus is prevalent. Now, this movie is about the cosmos, which made me think of the word cosmos, which made me think of the word chasm. And I thought to myself, chasm, os. Os means God, or by implication, strong, or vice versa, okay? Depending on which language you're speaking. Oz, just like Oz, with the Wizard of Oz, same thing, okay? So chasm Oz, or chasm Oz, means a strong chasm, or a mighty chasm. A chasm is a rip in something, an opening. Check this out. Greek, chaos. Chasm, chaos. Emptiness, a vast void, a chasm, an abyss, related to the verb kasko. Like Costco? Interesting. And keno. Also, gape, to be wide open, or gape. Proto-Indo-European, gen. I wonder if that's related to Ganon from Zelda. Anyways, to gape, to yawn, to open your mouth, chronos, right? It may also mean space, the expanse of air. This is chaos, or chasm. Chaos as water, blah, 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 blah. So basically the word chasm, or an opening, or a rift, or a great rift in the sky, in the firmament, leads to, quote unquote, the cosmos, or space, the greater cosmos, or whatever is beyond the great chasm, which is what cosmos means, right? It's cosm or chasm, and then os, strong. Now, here it is. This is the rip in the sky. This is the rip in the firmament. This is all cartoonified. This is Jesus with his little compass reaching down, measuring things out, and seeing how big this opening in the sky actually is. There's also some circular things happening, what looks like maybe stars. There's the frillies that go all the way around it, right? This is the mouth of Kronos. If you're a Marvel fan, this is the world that has what they call the devil's anus. Okay, I'm not a fan of that description, but you know, it is in the movies and stuff too. Here's Jesus once again with his compass and the frillies and the depressurization point, the opening in the sky right here, complete with people inside of it and everything. There's the frillies again. Here he is again, measuring it out right there in the middle. The frillies go all the way around. This is the depressurization point. It's right there in the middle. You can see it's encircled by this rainbow. Now, I'm going to talk about where it actually comes from, what it actually is. What you see right here on screen is the makings of a bowl magnet, okay? So it's empty right now, but, you know, if you were to fill these little slots with neodymium magnets or strong magnets, then you have a very powerful dome magnet. The dome is electromagnetic in nature, okay? Electricity can pass through it nearly instantly. It's a great conductor. It's a superconductor, okay? Same thing with the apex dome. This is a type. Keep this in mind, okay? People make these. This particular style was patented by a man named David Lapointe, okay? I have pointed out his YouTube channel a couple of different times. I will show you his patent. He patented this particular shape that he says was given to him by an angel. Okay, and I believe him. Here's the patent. It's free. He doesn't sell this. He doesn't want any money from this at all. You can see his information right there, his patent number right there. I missed whoever subscribed, but welcome to my channel, sorry. But here's his patent of a magnetic bowl. Okay, this is very important. Now, from there, we get into what he calls the primer fields and primer field theory and primer fusion and whatnot. But to simplify it and to keep it simple, this is a two-dimensional version of this bowl right here. Okay, so just flip this bowl right side up. Right now it's upside down. Flip it right side up. And this is a sideways view if I were to slice it in half. It's a two-dimensional version of the same bowl. Okay, this red part represents the bowl. Now, right in the middle, you'll notice in this bowl, there's a hole. Okay, perfect, because we need one in the firmament if we're going to have a depressurization point so we can understand how these things are created. Now, the red represents the firmament. It represents the walls of the bowl magnet or the dome magnet, however you want to see it. The blue represents the direction of electromagnetic flow that is within that bowl. Okay, so over here it's coming down towards over here. The red represents the opposite, which is shooting straight up in the middle, going the opposite direction. And then there's these features. Inside of this bowl magnet is a dome of magnetism, powerful magnetism. And he calls this the confinement dome because it confines all the electrical flow inside of it. Okay? Underneath that, we have what's called the flip ring, where the electromagnetics flip around and they flip over, they reverse. And then the choke ring. This right here is where everything is the most dense. Okay? This represents our very world that we live on. All right? Now, in ancient cosmologies, they depict our world as having a dome above it and being flanked by two gigantic mountains. One side and the other side. If that cosmology follows suit with this depiction of this bowl magnet, okay, then this confinement dome is our confinement dome. It is the firmament. This is the electromagnetic portion of what would come with the physical. Oh, Raven Hunter Project. I saw that one. Good to meet you. Thanks. Welcome to my channel. All right, let's continue on. Now I'm going to show this. We're going to take that same one and I'm going to superimpose that bowl magnet over the firmament so that you can see how the apex dome is created. right? Remember I showed you this one earlier. They have the gate of the heavens up there at the top. Let me just zoom in once more. We'll take a quick little review. There's the sun, there's the openings in the firmament, there's the sky, the gate of the heaven, the waters above. Now, let's superimpose the magnet. I'll just put it upside down, that's all, because it's the same thing as our firmament, okay? Exact same thing, an electromagnetic barrier up above us. And this is what we would expect to see, right? There should be the apex dome that comes down towards us, facing us. Now this, in the magnet, is invisible. It's just magnetism. You can't see it unless you mess with it so that you can see it, but normally you wouldn't be able to see this. It's invisible, right? But in our world, check this out. We have atmosphere. Now, I put the inverted dome, I put the apex dome up there, okay? But in our world, we have gases on the inside of that confinement dome, okay? Now, I've listed the freezing points of those gases because I believe that the firmament is made out of ice. The highest gases in the furthest reaches of our atmosphere, highest up, and they tend to layer out as there's less and less wind as you get past the jet stream and stuff. But these are their freezing points. Hydrogen freezes at negative 434 degrees. Helium at 458, but only solidifies under extreme pressure. There is extreme pressure up there. Oxygen turns into ice at oxygen gas turns into ice at negative 361.8 degrees Fahrenheit. Nitrogen turns into solid ice at negative 346 degrees Fahrenheit. Why is this important? Because those gases, as they rise and they get closer and closer to this extreme pressure that is up here, and there's pressure down here where we are too, but there's even more up here, right? And it's really cold. It's extremely cold. How cold? The same as what academics says the temperature of space is, or outer space. Negative 454 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the temperature of space, which is really the space that's between here and the dome, which is really like they're talking about outer space. They're talking about beyond the dome. So beyond the dome, if this correlates, is negative 454 degrees. That is cold enough to freeze hydrogen, which is the highest gas up there, and helium. Well, helium's pretty close. Okay, we could say maybe that's an exception, and maybe not helium, but possibly. Oxygen definitely freezes up there, and nitrogen definitely freezes up there. These are all of our just regular gases of our regular atmosphere freezing solid, making the dome frozen gas or ice, right? Now, there will be no impurities, so the light from the plasma swirling around up there in the heavens would pass directly through all of that ice. And then it would create its own focal points, the sun, the stars, projections, the planets, and the moon and stuff, right? So let's take a look at this. Remember, I said it's reflective, right? The firmament is reflective. This apex dome is also reflective. So quite often, we see this reflected in it. Remember how I showed you that those rivers, like the symbol for Shamash and some other, sun deities or whatever, they have these like squiggly lines that make like an X that runs through it. That's because the land directly below, this is acting as like a convex mirror, right? And it makes everything that's directly below it really big. So in the ancient world, people could look up at the firmament and see their very own earth reflected back to them, and they could draw it out, and they could make maps. Now keep in mind, there would be anomalies and discrepancies if there's discrepancies and anomalies with the dome, and it depends on if it's a concave or a convex shape to it. That would affect if it's bigger or smaller or distorted at the edges or whatever. But it matters not. People could look up from down here at the sky and see the rest of the world, and they could draw maps, world maps, during times when they shouldn't have had access to the entire world. Now, if there are other instabilities, weak points or holes or whatnot, and those refroze over because the gases will refreeze after they're punctured and stuff, okay? The gases will refreeze, which fix the ice wall, the ice dome. It heals itself, okay? It's self-healing, all right? It will constantly just create more and more and more. The only time that it has holes in it is during the 3 days of darkness, or it has during the depressurization at the very least, okay? So there's holes. These could create their own little mini domes, or apex domes or inverted domes. And those will create projections as well, just like this one makes the largest of all the projections, which is the moon. These little ones would create like the planets. Remember, this is just like off the top of my head. I feel like this could be worked on and be better. But it has the opposite effect on the apex dome itself. Remember, I said that those make the stars, right? Because this is the bowl shape. If you put holes in that, then it's going to create, to us, craters. But to people on the other side, it'll be like mounds or whatever, right? But this is all ice. So when the light hits these things right here, just like I show you in this example, the light will come inward and create a little point of focus. And then these are the stars that we see. Like I said, the apex dome creates all of the stars that we see. The light above it swirls around and around and around. And just like a stereogram or stereograph, I forgot what it's called, they will move around in the sky and follow suit. And whenever it's way out here off on the sides, right, just like in a stereogram, you'll have like retrograde patterns and stuff too. All right, so that's just, oh, hey, man, do I have one of those? Hold on, let me see. Do I got one of those? Oh, I do. All right, so I sell merch on my website. Okay, so I just put this in here because I make these cool little mini posters that I put in with my, sometimes I'll put them in with my book sales or a merch pack or whatever. I have these for book signings and stuff. I'm gonna have a book signing here pretty soon in my local area. And I make these. I print these out. I create these and I make them. The color is kind of hard to see just because of the lighting and stuff here, but they're really nice. As you can see, it's got the apex dome up top, the plasma coming out, the blue beam, Mount Meru shooting up, right? It's all there. And it says JayDreamerZ Plasma Apocalypse, except for the image is reversed. Anyway, some of you, I think, so I've got other mini posters. I just got these and I sent out one to one person. I think it's Gran Hermaga in Spain. I think you got the first one of these. So I'm pretty excited for you. If you guys want one, you can check out my website. And I'll make them available in the future. I just wanted to plug that real quick because I think it's really cool. And then, yeah, this is like the ancient cosmology, the little openings in the firmament. That takes us to NASA, right? Did they go to the moon? Well, if the moon is just a luminary, then they can't. Okay, it's impossible. It won't happen. It's them just traveling through a light, and they would have no interest in just traveling through that light. What they do have an interest in is getting out of here, is getting out of the earth. They want to escape the earth. They want to leave this world, and to do so, they need to go to the moon, the real moon, the apex dome, Nibiru, etc., and so on and so forth, right? Which is an extension of Antarctica if you think about the dome wrapping all the way around, right? You can just fly across Antarctica until you're upside down up there at the actual moon, okay? Now these guys are dressed for the extreme cold of space, which is the extreme cold of the dome, right? They dress similar to people how they dress when they go to the actual Arctic, right? You see astronauts wearing very similar types of gear and stuff, right? This is NASA. NASA has bases and set up shop and all this stuff. I mean, it kind of resembles the moon in and of itself with a crater and everything, right? But this is actually NASA. What are you doing on the moon? What are you doing in freaking Antarctica? You know what I mean? Don't you study space? Isn't space your deal, right? But you can see they actually show you the inverted dome, the apex dome, as their symbol. That's what it is, with the stars and everything. And then there's a hole in the middle, which is the depressurization point, and then there's plasma coming out of it. Boom. This is NASA. The reason they go to Antarctica is because it's connected to the moon. Mind-blowing for me. I love saying extreme things that I know sound weird to like regular people. Anyways, that's why they set up shop in Antarctica. That's why Buzz Lightyear went there, probably to give them advice on how to walk on the cold surfaces or whatever. I don't know what he's doing there. That's why celebrities go there, all this weird stuff, okay? Yeah, interesting stuff. NASA, boom. So they're trying to get out of the Earth. They're trying to leave the Earth behind, leave the world behind. So they're practicing in Antarctica where it's a little warmer. And And this is why they take rockets down there, you know, the nuclear tests and all that stuff, right? Now, this is a shout out to David Lapointe. Like I said, this is his video, The Primer Fields Part 1. This channel is probably the most underrated channel I've ever seen, okay? He doesn't put out a lot of content, but what he does put out is very valuable. If you want to better understand where I'm coming from as far as the physics and the science behind how this cosmology that I've presented to you in part, how it may be created, I highly recommend checking out his channel, his work on the primer fields. He also has created plasma fusion. He's created a plasma fusion device that you could build at home. Okay, he's giving you the patent away, and it's about the size of a refrigerator, and you could power your home for an entire year for like $10. Okay. Oh, I forgot. I didn't see who that was. I'm so sorry, but high five. All right, let's continue on. Now, this shape has been seen since time immemorial. That means ancient oblivion. Okay, and it's been drawn down. It's been drawn on stone and etched in petroglyphs and whatnot. This is the doom shape. This is the shape of the dome, the inverted dome, the apex dome at the top of the firmament. Here's the inner circle that has the light that comes out of it, or this could also be symbolic of the four rivers of paradise being reflected, you know, directly below it. And that light seeps out of the inverted dome, the apex dome. Here it is again, the circle within the circle, the doom shape, the light coming out from the center of it. This is the wheel in the sky. This is the cosmic wheel. Here it is again, right? The ancients depicted things they saw. They didn't make up things like giants with horns and they don't exist, and giant feet for no reason, and just some wheel because they thought wheels were cool. Okay, this is the cosmic wheel in the sky. Here it is again. Okay, little frillies coming out of it, right? Just like the ones that sucked up Jesus. Here it is again, right there and right there. Here's some more depictions. It's oftentimes the eye in the sky, okay? Always directly beneath the mountain of the moon, or the moon mountain, or Mount Meru. All right, here it is again. Oftentimes it will be at the top of actual arches, archways. It'll be the eye that's up there in the sky, the ceiling. Here it is again. You can see the eye, the ribbon, the opening, the light coming out of it. This is, you know, some fan art or something. This says Metatron Omega Gnosis Dei. And this actually has a dalet, a triangle in the middle, with an eye, the beams of light coming out from the center point, going all the way out to the outer rim of the wheel. The reason it's in a triangle is because that is the letter dalet in Phoenician and Paleo-Hebrew. And the letter dalet is today represented as a triangle. But originally, that triangle meant door. That's originally what it meant. I'll show you here in a minute. So they put the eye, which is the apex dome, and they put the symbol that means door. That's the door to get out of the earth. If you want to explore the fractalverse or all the other earth worlds out there. This is the reason that the Illuminati put their one eye, they make a triangle. It represents the door, which is the eye, which is their escape route. Okay, they plan on leaving one day. Let's see. We got the depressurization points, the inverted dome, the apex dome up here, the sky, the multicolored cosmic bird aurora, etc. What else? There's another bird one, right? Apex dome at the top. This is Thoth. There's another bird one. This is the roadkill freaking eagle. No eagle looks like that. It's clearly not an eagle, right? It's a roadkill eagle. It's actually the phoenix, okay? And you got, like, you know, the legs that come from this. It spreads back out. This is just plasma. It's not an actual bird. This would be dead if it was. And then you have the depressurization point up here, the apex dome with the stars inside of it. Boom. This is just an example. The eye in the sky, right? The all-seeing eye. This is the secret of the Freemasons. Okay, you don't need to go through years of kissing ass to learn all these secrets. You could just watch my channel, and it's free. The apex dome is also known as the shield of Zeus, or the Aegis. The Aegis. Pronounce it however you like to pronounce it. This is where we get the word age from. This was the shar. This was the original sun symbol, which was the symbol for the shar was a circle and a dot in the middle. That's this right here. That's the doom shape. It has Medusa's head right in the middle, which is the inner circle with the plasma coming on out of it, right? This was drawn and featured in Nostradamus's drawings. Many people don't realize that Nostradamus actually drew prophecies as well as wrote them down in his quatrains, right? So you can see up here, let me make it a little bigger. For pow. At the very top, we've got the depressurization point, which is the wheel in the sky. I know it's a wheel because in his other drawings, he has spokes on this particular wheel. There's a star right here, which also suggests to me the apex dome. And then here is the actual dome itself. Boom. Coming right on down. This ribbon represents the frilly part or the firmament itself. Right? These are very interesting to break down. Here's another version of it. Here's the depressurization fog, the depressurization point, the angel, the fires and stuff from the apocalypse. Oh, Dalet. So remember the triangle? I was telling you guys about the triangle and how they put the eye in the triangle. The triangle originally, the Dalet, the letter or the glyph that means door, in Egyptian and in Hebrew and in Phoenician, it was drawn similar to this, not a triangle, okay? It was a straight line which represented the firmament. And then it was this coming down off of the firmament. Now, originally, I believe this was rounded, but it's difficult when you're carving it into rock or whatever to get it to be rounded all the time. So people just gave up, and then after a while, they're just making straight points and stuff. But this was what it originally looked like, and it means door. This is also what it looks like in Phoenician and in Egyptian, okay? This is the glyph for door. And like I said, this is the firmament, this is the apex dome, and that's the door to heaven. So all of this, I consider all these things, and then it helps me to better understand some of the strange anomalies that we see in this world. These are just one example, right? Look at these weird sideways rainbows off to the side. You can see the light glistening over here. It looks like there's actually a holographic version of the apex dome right up there at the top. You've got the circle, the doom shape with the point in the middle, right? This looks like it's also a portion of the firmament. Maybe this is like a larger version of the apex dome coming down. And then this is like the depressurization point right there. I don't know. I'm just spouting off the top here. But it looks like a damn eye in the sky, doesn't it? Right? This is just, they call it, oh, that's a sundog, and that's a sun halo, and that's a whatever you want to call it. Like, this is the firmament reflected to us so that we can be reminded that it's there. Okay? And during the dark age, during the dark time that we now live in, until we get back into the age of light, when your synapses will fire back off, people will remember the old ways and the truth once again, right? This is the heavens declare the glory of God and the handiness of his firmament, or however that goes, right? Look at that. That definitely looks like one of those aspherical type apex dome things right there, right? Here's another one, upside down, boom, up here. I don't know. To me, this is optics, and it's coming from how the light interacts with the actual firmament itself. I refuse to believe that this, I don't see any good reason why all this should be is crepuscular rays that are coming from the sun. And if it's academics, it shouldn't even be crepuscular. It should just be straight rays. This is a huge big flag saying there's a dome above you. Okay? It's clearly reflecting. You can make these same images with a glass of water and let the sunlight pass through it. Right? And that is our presentation for today. Let's have a big round of applause and positive emojis for all of the people who are in the chat, learning, making friends, coming together as truth seekers. Jim, oh my God, Jim, I didn't even see that you donated. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad I checked. Jim Donovan, also, I want to thank all the people that support my work. This is what I do, and I love what I do. It's great. So it's a time consuming, and it's, it can take a toll, but I really enjoy sharing these things with all of you. So I hate goodbyes, but I want to wrap it up and, go get some rest and stuff and get ready for my weekend. Josh Jeanette, Josh Jeanette, right at the last second. Let's flood the chat with positive emojis for one another. It's good to see the Good Vibe Tribe coming together. I'm glad you guys liked the presentation. Do leave me some comments. I'm starting to check them out again. Now that, you know, we have such a good, strong community, I'm starting to check the comments out again. And plus, you guys are dropping some nuggets on me that I love. Some you know, breadcrumbs of truth. All right. Check out my book, Ancient Oblivion, The Plasma Apocalypse, and Ancient Oblivion, Return to Hyperborea. You can get both of those. You can order direct from me. I will personally gift wrap your... I mean, how many people in the chat, you know, if you want to, you can share, but how many people got one of my own packaged books that I sent to you personally? Is it cool? I feel like it's cool. I put a lot of love when I'm packaging it and stuff, and you get all these cool bookmarks and merch and mini posters and all this other stuff. These are actually bigger than the old ones too. So the old ones are a little tiny smaller than this one, but now I got some bigger ones going on. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy it. Check out my website, JayDreamerZ.com. You can do a 24-hour free cram session. There's a lot of information there, and I'm constantly adding to it. And check out my books, and leave me some love in the comments. Until next time, I'm JayDreamerZ, saying good vibes and goodbye.
Something's forcing me to stay. The